In the first century, thousands of people willingly chose to endure torture and sacrifice their lives just to share the story of a person called Jesus Christ.
The things he did and said shook the entire world. Even to this day, his teachings find home in the hearts of millions of people all around the world.
More than 300 prophecies were foretold about his life 600 years before he was born, and he eventually fulfilled them.
So who really is Jesus Christ?
2000 years ago, in a small town called Bethlehem in Israel, an Asian country, a child was miraculously born to a virgin.
This child was named Jesus, means to save, as his only purpose on this earth was to die for all the people and to save them from their sins.
At the age of 30, Jesus started to teach about God. People were astonished by his teachings. Thousands gathered just to hear his words, for they had never seen nor heard anyone like Jesus before.
For he was perfect in all he did. He's the only person who ever practiced and proclaimed to love one's enemies.
Jesus is the Son of the living God. He performed many miracles like giving sight to the blind, enabling the mute to speak, the deaf to hear, healing all sorts of diseases.
He touched and healed lepers, and most importantly, he raised the man back to life 4 days after he had been dead.
Jesus forgave sins, as he is the only person who has the authority to forgive sins of all the people of the world.
He lived a perfect and holy life during his entire period on this earth. He lived a life without committing any sort of sin, not even in his thoughts.
In fact, he challenged the people around him to point out if he had ever wronged anyone. But even those who were keen to find faults could not find any.
He came from heaven to the earth to save the world from their sins and to lead them to eternal life in heaven if they believe in him and follow his teachings.
As God is holy, it is impossible for a sinful man to have a relationship with him. However, God had a plan. As God loved the world, he did not want any of them to perish in sin.
Therefore, he sent Jesus to save them, for Jesus Christ bore the punishment of their sins by sacrificing his life on the cross.
So that when people believe in him and obey his teachings, they will be considered as saints without any sin.
Thus, making possible for humankind to enter into a beautiful personal relationship with God.
After his painful death and burial, he rose back to life on the third day, just as he had promised before. He appeared to more than 500 people and taught them for 40 days about God.
He then instituted his church to help people reach God. Afterwards, he ascended back to heaven from where he had come.
One day, he will return to take his church along with him to heaven. And this is what Christians hope and wait for.